Mr. Foamer Simpson, sneaker guru, longtime Knicks fan,
Yeah.
longtime friend of Combo.
Long time, man.
What's the vibes, my guy? What is the
Man,
vibes?
feeling good, feeling good. I feel like it's been a minute since I've been on, man. I'm ready to talk some hoops.
We're here, man. We're here.
We out here.
Longtime Knicks fan, passionate Knicks fan, but rational Knicks fan. Foamy, that is.
Yeah,
I'm a,
it's been a tough existence.
but you know what? We're gonna start this out. We're gonna start this one with a banger.
Okay.
Can the Knicks win the East?
No,
Wow.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I love the team. This is a really fun team to root for. We've taken major strides, but no, I don't think so. Like, I mean, we're gonna beat Boston. Uh I don't see it, man. I really don't see it. But I do like the direction we're headed, and it's nice to not suck. I'll say that. I do think that I'm not a Tibbs guy,
Mm.
and but I feel like the ceiling with him is pretty low. But it does feel like there's at least a Knicks culture that is back, and we haven't had that in a really long time. So, no, it's been fun, man. But win the East, that feels like a stretch. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, it feels like the shift in culture really all comes down from Brunson and like the Nova Knicks, you know?
100%, man. It's crazy. Like we really are the Nova Knicks. And I gotta say, man, when they brought Brunson in, I did not know he was this guy. Like I knew he was good, don't get me wrong, but I think it would have been difficult for really almost anybody to know he was this guy, maybe outside of him and his pops, because he was in a different role in Dallas. So it's I don't know, man. It's been awesome, but I love Brunson. I love him.
It's interesting because we saw flashes in Brunson when Luca wasn't playing, but when Luca was playing, we didn't see this Brunson, and now we're seeing it again when it's his team.
Right. And that's a great point. And we're seeing it night in and night out. And that's the thing, man, that I think is really the differentiating factor between like the dudes and the guys who are really good. And it's that just night in, night out when the defense is focusing on you. Like I think I read something after watching them play the other day where he was like double teamed 30 times or something crazy like that. Like he's a dude, man. And it's crazy because you look at him and like casually, he does not pass the eye test. All right, right. Like he doesn't play above the rim. He's not lightning quick, but the dude is just an absolute dog, man. Footwork, elite footwork, best footwork since Kobe.
Oh my God. Wow. Let me
Spicy,
think. It's a spicy take. I mean, his post footwork for a guard is absolutely elite. One of the best post players in the league.
right? I mean, like who has better footwork than him in the post, like for
You
a
know
guard?
who's tough, bro? And you know he's tough. Everybody knows he's tough. SGA, because
SGA
like
is really tough.
like Kyrie, I mean Brunson's of this mold as well. Like he has unlimited options and he rarely shows like tendencies. Like you
Right,
never know exactly what he's going to do. And you don't want to evaluate a player from highlights, but let's say you look at James Harden highlight, right? You're going to
right.
see a lot of the same stuff, even in his prime, right? Like a lot of step back, a lot of step back. Now, SGA is step backs, but if you watch his highlight, you might see something new every play.
Yeah. Nah, SGA is really different. That's a good one. I think Brunson is in that stratosphere at the very top of the league with the footwork, and he has to be because the physical attributes really aren't there outside of the footwork. So, nah, he's special, man. He really is.
What have you made of OG's time with the Knicks?
I mean, man, you know, listen, a lot of times fans are like, man, I could run the team so much better. I'll be honest. Now, I liked getting OG. I like OG's game. I knew he would be a fit with Tibbs and the current roster and all that stuff. I didn't like getting rid of quickly, because I've been high on him since he was in college and I really liked him. But man, having OG, yeah, it's been the proof is in the pudding, as they say. It it
Yeah,
it, it looks he's a perfect fit. works perfectly, meshed perfectly, exactly the things that we needed, he provides. So OG has been fucking terrific.
Were you sad to see Quickly and or RJ go?
So full disclosure, I never been the biggest RJ guy. Like I respect him for sure. Obviously, he's really, really good, but I just I don't know. That style of game is not necessarily my favorite, but um, so and he went over there and started eating immediately. So it was cool to see. Like I'm not one of these fans. Like once they leave, it's like, oh fuck you, yada.
I,
Like
I
I
think
want
that's yeah, I
go.
think that's been the sentiment of most Knicks fans. Like they want to see Quick and RJ do well.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, both of them like seemed like great guys. They were great to have on the team, but just from a fit perspective, I didn't never really thought RJ was it. Something about like him with Randall, like it was a lot going on there that was tough. And but quickly, I miss quickly, bro. I won't lie to you. I miss
Yeah.
quickly. Like he's I love his game and he provides something that's really nice. And I think there's room for him to grow as well, where it kind of felt like RJ was topped out a little bit, at least in New York. And but man, it's hard to argue with OG and what he's been able to do.
From what I gather, you see it to like modern basketball players, right? Like not players that run through walls.
Yeah, exactly. I like the modern game. I'm one of these dudes like, a lot of people are like, oh, back in the 90s and back in basketball is so much better now than it was then. I'm not saying there's not little nuances that were better then and things like that, but for the most part, the game is and we've talked about this before. The
Yeah.
game is a great place, man. Like the skill, the athleticism, the shot making, the pace of play. Bro, go back and watch one of them, late 90s, early 2000s NBA games. That shit was not fun to watch. Not like it is now. So, I'm definitely a modern hoops guy.
A guy that was killing it back in the early 2000s and is still killing it, LeBron James. Now, the talking point around the NBA universe, if you will, is LeBron, Knicks, Bron wearing a towel. As a Knicks fan, and people might not know this, or they may know this, you're a LeBron fan as well.
Yes, I am.
Now, look, this is not going to happen. I got to say right off the bat, it's not going to happen. But hypothetically, just as a thought exercise, would you like to see LeBron James as a New York Knick?
Yes, I would. Of
Okay.
course. Now, for full disclosure, I am a LeBron fan to like the 10th degree. Like right on that cusp of stan and fan. I love Bron. He's our era. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I think he's the GOAT. I think he's the greatest basketball player to ever step on a basketball court. And so from that perspective, it would be awesome to have him in New York. There's something about like obviously being with the Lakers, storied franchise, the whole deal. Really, the other team is the Knicks, right? Like Madison Square Garden. There's something about, and LeBron has always, Knicks fans know this. LeBron has always kind of flirted with the MSG thing a little bit, like just enough for a Knicks fan like me who likes LeBron to have like just a little glimmer of hope. But yeah, I'm like you. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think it's a pipe dream.
So if you're the Knicks, Brunson, Fortier, maybe some draft capital, you do that trade.
Uh, Man, well, taking Brunson off that team would be a real issue.
Okay. Let's just say, yeah, that's not happening anyway.
It might not line as far as like
Okay, so what could actually happen money wise, from what I understand, even though it won't happen, but if both teams wanted to
right.
do it money wise, it would work. It would be I didn't even want to say Brunson, Randall and Fortier, some draft capital for
Yes.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm smashing accept on that trade offer. Yes. 100%, 100 times out of 100 times I'm doing that.
Yeah, and I don't get why the Lakers would do it. Like some would say that okay, Randall is a younger star, but I think they're trying to win a championship right now and figure it out later. And Randall doesn't do that for you.
Yeah, the only thing would be if they were trying to recoup some of that draft capital that they've given up, like that they gave up in the AD trade. And if they were trying to, because their pick situation moving forward is not great, which is kind of why it's like they're all in every year, have to win now because You have obviously LeBron who's aging, but AD is towards the back end of his prime, if you want to call it that too. And
It's
then,
crazy. Yeah.
right, it almost seems like he's kind of
It
almost outside of his prime a little
it's
bit.
so weird because if you look at the way he moves, it's not the same as when he was with New Orleans or even the way
No,
he looks, but he's still so impactful, but you feel like he's regressing a little early, right? Like athletically.
definitely. And I've really felt like that for the last couple years. Now, the one thing I will say, credit to him, he hasn't really got hurt this year. And in the
Yeah.
past, that was the thing. It was like you're watching a Lakers game, and it's like twice a game he would fall down, and you'd be like, oh, his ACL is done.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he tore his Achilles. Oh, he just broke something. And he would get up and shake it off or whatever, but he would miss some time too. Now he's been actually really durable this year. It's just that when he's totally locked in and like peak AD, he still does get there and he dominates. I forget who they played a couple months ago, and I remember tweeting about it, and I was like, "Yo,
Was
that
it was it the end season tournament because he killed
that's what it was.
championship game.
It was the in-season tournament. That's what it was, bro. He was guarding everybody.
Yeah,
He was scoring at will.
yeah.
He was getting every rebound. He was blocking shots. And I said on Twitter, when AD is locked in, I don't know if there's anybody more impactful than him right now. And it's like you could argue Giannis, Jokic, etc. But like it's just that he's not, like I said, doing it night in and night out. He doesn't really do it night in and night out. And to be like that level of guy, you kind of sort of have to. So, but man, when he's locked in, he's special. But it does feel like he's kind of on the backside of that prime. It does, because if you watch him with the Pelicans, different ball game, different ball game. Just the way he moved, some of the explosiveness. I feel like I don't have numbers pulled up in front of me. So this is just, bro stats right now. But I feel like he shot it a lot better. And again, I don't know, but just something about him offensively seemed a lot better then too. So yeah, I don't know, man. The Lakers are in a tough spot, but if they wanted to recoup some of that draft capital, maybe it would make sense. But nah, bro. At this point, you got LeBron, you got AD. They're not moving them guys. Come on.
You know what's actually looking, and we always talk about like his passing, and Nate, can you work on it? Actually, one part of AD's game that has improved this season, I think, is the passing.
It feels like it a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I do think it's, you hear that a lot. I do think it's something that you can work on, the passing thing, but to an extent.
Yeah.
It's not like, you take a guy like
You're not going to get to like Halliburton, Jokic, LeBron
right,
level with just like going into the gym and drilling it out, right?
right. Like Jalen Green is not going to turn into Halliburton. Like it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. And it's tough to get Jalen Green's first step for some people.
100%. That is also true. That is also true. Facts.
Okay, so you always praise me on my draft stuff, and I really appreciate it publicly, privately. But
Oh,
before we get to the Scoot stuff, we got to get to GG Jackson because he's had his flashes, and it's so interesting how the narrative shifts, right? Like it's kind of like, oh, this guy's super skilled, he's young, he has the size, the talent, but we don't
right.
know if he's coachable. And then all of a sudden, we see a moment with Shaq on on TV, where like, oh,
Yeah.
you could tell he's hyped to talk to Shaq,
Yeah.
and now everybody loves him, right? So it's
It's
like, what he had is, he looks like a rookie when he's playing basketball, which is
because
fair. Most guys look like a rookie, but he has had flashes, which we do want to see. When you watched him play in college, what did you see? Because you texted me like, yo, GG Jackson, GG Jackson. And how was that for him to have his moment? And what did you see in his game in college?
Yeah, it was kind of nice. In college, when I watched him, it was like I saw upside, like with the size and the skill set, some of the things he was able to do. And I kind of always lean that way, like where the guys with the high ceilings, which, can backfire too, because, you end up, you know, going all in or investing in a player who doesn't really pan out. And then a guy like Brunson, who's like almost like the anti upside
Right,
prospect,
right, exactly.
like shit, even a guy like Steph Curry would have been almost like the anti upside when he was coming in because they don't have the size and athleticism. But I just saw him doing some pretty special stuff. Not like Brandon Miller level, but I saw him doing some pretty special stuff for a guy his size. And it has been cool to, for him to kind of have a little bit of a moment. A lot of times, man, guys need opportunity. Not to transition over into the Scoot thing, but Scoot's opportunity I have not liked at all. Like the opportunity hasn't been good. You look at Brandon Miller, and there's nobody there.
Yeah,
Like,
it's true. It's different.
bro, there's nobody there. There's nobody taking his minutes. Meanwhile, Scoot is like going against experienced guards, and he's playing like Scoot had 20 at the half the other day and barely played in the second half. It's opportunity does matter. And right now, Gigi has a great opportunity. I mean, was it like 10 players were out for them a couple days ago or something
Right,
crazy like
right,
that?
right, right.
So the opportunity's there, but nah, I definitely think the kid has some upside. There's no question.
All right. Scoot Henderson, coming out the draft, I wasn't low on him, but I wasn't especially high on him either. And then I saw him in summer league. Like, I liked what I saw, the competitiveness. He was getting it to his shot easily, super athletic. I'm like, okay, like I like what I'm seeing in summer league.
Right.
12.8 points per game, 3.0 rebounds, 4.6 assists, true shooting, not so good at 48. Are you concerned at all at this point?
I would say I'm less concerned now than I was a month ago.
Okay.
Because he's already had a 30 ball. Like he scored 20 and a half. He's had double-digit assists multiple times. Like, again, you're seeing that upside. Now, what was concerning for me was earlier in the season. Now, the health was definitely an issue. I'm going to be honest, and this is probably super stupid, but the goggles were throwing me off. The goggles were combo. Listen, the goggles threw me off, bro. I was like, yo, what is this? Late 90s? Is this Horace Grant? What is going on, man?
Man's just looked like a 6'1" 4".
Facts, bro. I was like, the goggles, the on-court drip, it threw me off. I was like, hold on a second. And he was shooting it really, really, really poorly at the time. And then it was like, let's give him some goggles. And I'm not going to lie, that threw me off a little bit. But I think that they haven't done a good job with giving him that opportunity. You invest in this guy. I'll never understand why teams and organizations do this. Like, you invest in a guy and then you're kind of getting off to a bad start. You're getting off on the wrong foot. Like, confidence in young players, man, is so important. We see it all the time, right? And it's almost like to put that investment in a guy, pick him third overall, and then almost like chop his confidence out of the gate is just like weird tactics. Just from a business perspective, I don't understand that at all. Like, bro, let some of the older dudes, the guys who don't matter, and you're not competing for anything. Like, bro, let him get out there and let him rock. And when they have done that, he's done really well. But when you're, going with Malcolm Brogdon and trying to win games that don't matter, and it's a weird situation. They're super guard heavy, and I don't love it for him. But I'm not long term. I'm actually not worried about him, no, because he's already, to me, shown the flashes.
It doesn't feel like they're on the same page, right? Like, you're absolutely right. As an organization, it feels like they should give him opportunity. My thinking is, I don't have any inside information on this, is that Chauncey doesn't want to lose as many games as he might lose if he just lets Scoot go, even though it's best for Scoot. But,
right.
He's like, okay, I got Brogdon. I got, and then some of the younger guys are really good on the team, like, Simons and Sharp. Like, you're going to play them no matter what. Sure. But it almost feels like Chauncey, for his own future, he's not trying to lose all these games right now.
100%. And we see that a lot. And I do think that those are the two things that kind of collide or butt heads. We saw it with the New York Giants. We won't get into a whole football thing, but basically the coach, he doesn't want to lose games. Fans are like, oh, we want to lose so we can draft a quarterback and our team is not that good anyway. And maybe ownership feels that way, but the coach is like, bro, I'm going to get fired if we lose. I'm not trying to have this terrible ass season on my resume with a bunch of losses and whatever. So coaches are always going to try to win. Players are always going to try to win. It's a tough situation to be in, man, but you got to move Brogdon off that team. Like, it doesn't make sense. You're hurting everybody by doing that. They got to move him off that team.
Yeah, it's almost the thing. Like the Rockets are pretty good now, but it feels like the Eric Gordon situation with Houston. Like, why
Yeah,
wasn't he on one of those LA teams earlier? You know, I mean, he's on the Suns now, but man, like he could have been helping contending teams for so long, and he was just stuck in Houston for no reason.
100%. I'll never understand teams having guys like that on these bottom of the league type squads. It just doesn't make sense. And then meanwhile, your young guys don't develop at all.
Yeah.
It's like the thing, like, again, I know we're jumping around a little bit here, but like you take the Warriors, right? Like they've obviously had, the dynasty, the whole deal, if not a dynasty, damn close to it. If there was one knock on them, right, it would be that they did a poor job of developing their young guys.
Mm-hmm.
Up until now, they're finally starting to develop them. They're finally starting to give them minutes and stuff like that. It's so tough when you draft these young players and then they just sit on the bench and they don't do anything and they lose confidence. And it's really tough to develop young guys like that, in my opinion.
Real quick, answer this real quick.
Sure.
Better chance to make a deep playoff push, Warriors or Lakers?
Lakers.
Yeah, I agree.
Lakers.
Yeah, it's the AD LeBron thing, right? Pretty much.
When those guys lock in and when they're really good, and we've seen it, the Warriors just can't guard anybody. They don't.
Clay last night, man, that was tough to watch. I mean, there's been a regression, but yesterday I was watching some of that game. That was like his body language, the way he was playing, tough to watch.
It's tough. He even said it after the game when he was like, he even said it. Yeah, it is tough, man. Like I go
Yeah.
from one of the best players in the league, one of the best players on the team, and then now it's like, yeah, it's a struggle. It's
Is that
watching the
as
guys
a
get
former
old.
as a former hooper for you, is that like a huge red flag when like he starts to believe what everybody else is believing, or is it just being realistic at that point?
I think it depends, like if you look at it from a perspective of like, I think we've seen it with LeBron a little bit where he's changed his game a little bit. Like he's no longer as quick. He's no longer the guy that can, just blow by people. So he's changed his game a little bit, but still maintained obviously a super high level of confidence. I think it's okay to shift into a different role, but to your point, with Clay, it seems like he's kind of demoralized. It seems like
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't seem like, okay, I'm shifting into a different role. It seems like, oh shit, I can't do the things I want to do. I can't do the things I once did. And where do I go from here? So yeah, I don't think it's a good situation with him.
What's the most New York sneaker?
The most New York sneaker is the Timberland boot.
You know what? It was crazy because going into this conversation with you, I was gonna say like we know what the most New York boot is.
Facts.
But do you feel like that's even like blown out of context on the internet? We all know like Tim's is so New York, but like on the internet, it's crazy, bro.
For sure. Yeah, nah. People have definitely took it and ran with it. I've seen stuff where people have like these inflatable, like blow up big Timberland boots, and it definitely is. But the most New York sneaker, man, it's tough. I really do think that the Air Force One is up there. You know what I mean? Like a pair of Uptowns. A lot of people are like, oh, when Nelly came out with, I need two pair, two. Bro, New York has been on, I mean, white on white Uptowns. Like that was, I mean, from the time I was a kid, that was a thing. So I don't know if that sneaker is like that everywhere. Like I know it's not like that in LA because I got LA homies. Like they wear Chuck Taylors and Vans and shit like that.
Right.
But maybe that's all along the East Coast. Maybe like in Chicago, is it the same thing? So I don't know that we can necessarily claim it, but man, that's definitely up there. I think there's some more, not obscure, but like some sleeper picks, I think would be like Jordan 8s,
Oh
Jordan
yeah,
12s,
yeah.
Jordan 9s, like some of those where I just feel like
Do
they
you
get,
do you feel that's because those are almost like boot-ish
I
in a
think
way?
so. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you take like, I love the olive 9s.
Yes.
It's like, and that's such a class. And I feel like that is like a really New York sneaker and a really New York colorway. But, but it's tough, just boil it down to one. What do you think? Do you have one or no?
Underrated for me would be the Bo Jacksons.
Ooh, you know what? Yo, I remember the first time I ever saw those. My man Ade had them, that Auburn colorway with and I don't even know why they call them the Auburn colorway because they're like orange and purple. Yo, that sneaker, you know the sneaker I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, of
Bro,
course.
that sneaker right there. Yo, shouts to the homie Rashad Bilal.
Yeah,
He,
shouts to
he's
Rashad.
he's big on those. Yo, that's a great call. That is a very, very New York sneaker. Damn, look
Yeah,
at Combo with the sneaker gems.
come on, man. I do it all. I do
I
it all.
respect it.
I,
The guy is versatile.
I do it all, man. I do
I
it all,
love
man.
it.
Foamy, great stuff. You know, you're always welcome back on the show. Where could we find you? You know, talk about my favorite brand, the Uncivilized brand, because you and your brother are the CEOs. So tell us where we could find that and
Yep.
everything else.
Appreciate you. So, yep, Mr. Foamer Simpson across the boards, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We're getting TikTok going now.
Okay.
Uncivilized brand on Instagram. You can find the clothing there. Uncivilized sneaker.
Mm.
Uh,
Oh, I've
what
been working out in those. I've been working out in those.
man? Letting those feet spread like this, man.
Yeah.
Get foot
Yeah.
health. Got to have that
Well,
good foundation.
foot hygiene.
There you go, man. Cleanliness next to godliness, as they say. But yeah, now at Mr. Foamer Simpson, that's kind of the hub, and then you can find all the little branch offs from there.
Foamy, you're always welcome back on the show. Talk soon.
Thank you, brother.